Good evening and welcome to The Big Fight, a show that is young at 21 and in about a month and a half it will be young at 22. The oldest running primetime show, in fact the debate show on Indian news television. I am Sanket Upadhyay. Before we move any further, I would like all of you all to watch this campaign video, and I think we won't have to say much after you watch it.
पेट्रोल डीजल के दाम हर बार बढ़ते गए तो स्कूटर खड़ा कर दिया, बस से चलने लगे। पढ़ाई लिखाई के खर्चों ने हमारी जेबें खाली कर दी, फिर भी मन मारकर काम चलाया। पर जब रोज रोज की हर जरूरत की चीजों के दाम लगातार बढ़ते जाएंगे तो हम अपने बच्चों का भविष्य कैसे बनाएंगे? उन्हें क्या खिलाएंगे? महंगाई को लगातार बढ़ाने वालों जनता माफ नहीं करेगी।
चलो हालात बदले, देश की सरकार बदले, भाजपा को वोट दे, अब की बार मोदी सरकार।
So ladies and gentlemen, this was a campaign video from 7 years ago. बहुत हुई महंगाई की मार, अब की बार मोदी सरकार. We've changed this a little after 7 years. And on The Big Fight, we ask, the country is feeling महंगाई की मार. अब की बार, what is going on, Sarkar? Just tweaked the campaign statement of the Bharatiya Janata Party because we have a similar situation, if not worse. Petrol prices are at an all-time high. What was treated as महंगाई in 2013 by the then BJP in the opposition, why are we being given an explanation now? I know one has to understand the explanation also. You can't be too over-emotional about these things. Obviously, the country needs revenue. But the point is, what was true for the BJP in 2013 and 14, why is it not true now? And what could the government and the Prime Minister have done differently than to burden an already burdened country? Let's quickly put this to a discussion. Mr. K.C. Tyagi is the Secretary General of the JDU and also a spokesperson. Thank you very much, Mr. Tyagi, for joining us. We also have Pinky Anand, Senior Advocate and former Additional Solicitor General of India. Thank you very much, ma'am, for joining us. Madan Sabnavis, Chief Economist, Care Ratings. Kakuli Ghosh Dastidar, Lok Sabha MP of the All India Trinamool Congress. Priyanka Chaturvedi, Rajya Sabha MP as well as leader of the Shiv Sena. Thank you very much. Nasir Salim, Managing Partner of Flexi Capital, is also with us, and in just a short moment we'll have Congress National Spokesperson Supriya Shrinet. The format of the show is that each one of you get 1 minute time to make your opening comments. We'll begin with you, Mr. K.C. Tyagi. Your 1 minute begins now. We call this the first punch.
संकेत जी, जो महंगाई इस समय है उसने आम आदमी का, कॉमन मैन का, मिडिल मैन का और ख़ास तौर से जो रूरल इकोनॉमी के लोग हैं उनका जीना बहुत दूभर कर दिया है। हमें इसकी भी चिंता है कि तीसरी बार महंगे होंगे टेलीविज़न। अप्रैल में 80% बढ़ेंगे दाम। स्टील के दाम बढ़ गए 4900 रुपये पर टन। एल्यूमिनियम कॉपर हो गया डबल, और एडिबल ऑयल जो है वो 11 साल के अपने पीक पर है। फ्रिज महंगा होगा, वॉशिंग मशीन महंगी होगी, लेकिन एज ए एग्रीकल्चरिस्ट मेरा कष्ट दूसरा है। सब चीज़ों के दाम बढ़ेंगे, लेकिन जो किसानों की जो एमएसपी है वो 3% बढ़ेगी, स्टील 50% बढ़ेगा, कॉपर 40% बढ़ेगा। महंगाई दर इतनी बढ़ेगी, लेकिन गांव के लोग, किसान लोग साल भर की मेहनत के बाद जब अपने फसलों के दाम मांगेंगे तो आप उनको कहेंगे कि इससे इन्फ्लेशन बढ़ जाएगा।
I get your point. Mr. Tyagi, I'm going to come back to you in just a short moment. Ms. Pinky Anand, your 1 minute.
I think this entire issue is somewhat unprecedented at this time. During this COVID pandemic, the kind of features that go into a whole situation is in any way very different from the normalcy. That aside, let's see what the the whole position is today. The rise of prices, rise of which prices? The consequence, the reason for these prices. So you've had crude oil rising. We are depending very strongly on imports. About 80% of crude oil is imported. The price, the international price of crude oil is one of the issues. The second is the vegetable oil prices. The third is the oil bonds, which were left over unpaid by the earlier regime, which has now cost us and the exchequer rise in interest, rise in principal payments and repayments, etc. You have rise in metal prices. And to add it all, you have all the kind of downstreams that have happened on account of the COVID strike. So I think if you put together all these features, we have to look at it in that perspective. We can't just say prices are rising, it is bad. Of course, price rising is always something which hurts the common man and should not hurt. A crunch from every aspect from the COVID onslaught in any case.
Okay. Kakoli Ghosh Dastidar, your 1 minute begins now, ma'am. Supriya is also with us. Thank you.
मुझे लगता है कि नौटंकी कम और काम ज्यादा करना चाहिए था. फेक न्यूज कम, ओरिजिनल न्यूज ज्यादा करना चाहिए था. They should have thought more about the people, more so the middle class people, the farmers, the laborers, the migrant workers, the salaried people, the retired people, instead of thinking of self. They were only thinking of expanding the party all over the country and their aggressive politics to acquire more and more states and gain more power instead of policy making, instead of thinking of making advancement, more industrialization, more output and more privilege to the people who are working hard on the front. You know, even doctors, even the salaried people, professors, everybody has suffered in the hands of the Bharatiya Janata Party government because there is total policy failure. They have not put their heads together towards betterment of the country.
Okay. Ms. Priyanka Chaturvedi.
So, you know, you began your program by talking about your 2014 campaign, which spoke about Mehengai Ki Maar. Very clearly, by 2021, it seems to have become Mehengai Se Pyar. That is what the Bharatiya Janata Party is doing. When Mehengai was dying, is now Mehengai darling. When you spoke about GDP growth rate, what they heard was gas, diesel, petrol prices hike. That is what is happening with the Bharatiya Janata Party government. And by going on accusing the past governments, you will not wash off your sins as far as your own role in this entire mess is concerned. When the petrol prices per barrel, crude oil prices per barrel was at $101, we were, I'm talking about 2014, we had the Bharatiya Janata Party opposing it. What was the petrol price per litre then? It was at 63 rupees. What is the petrol price now? It is anywhere above 100 rupees in every state. They continue to accuse the states of charging high taxes. Do you know how much the central government collects in terms of excise duties? The 70% of the diesel prices in terms of central taxes are collected by the center. Similarly, 60% of the taxes are covered by the center.
Sure.
So this is where the Bharatiya Janata Party continues to fool the people of this country and continues to make this about, you know, past governance, but refuses to acknowledge its own failures as far as governance is concerned.
Supriya Shrinet.
I have one thing to say. The reality is that high prices are hurting the common man a lot more today than they ever did in the past because we are going through an acute economic slowdown. A 1 crore job loss, 23 crore people slipping below the poverty line, per capita GDP slipping below levels of 1 lakh, 97% people poorer than they were 3 years back. This tells you how acute the economic slowdown is. And instead of helping the lower middle class, instead of helping people who cannot make ends meet, you're actually taxing them heavily and you are taking money out of their pockets by huge prices. 3.89 lakh crore rupees is the excise duty that the center alone has collected from fuel charges in the last 1 year itself. LPG prices have been raised by 240 rupees in the last 6 instances. These are things that common people use. You keep talking about Ujjwala. How many people today can afford 834 rupees worth of cylinders? It's a simple price people will ask. Milk is expensive. Dairy is expensive. Everything is more expensive than it was even 6 months back. Who's answerable?
Thank you. Madan Sabnavis.
Yeah, see, I would like to distinguish between factors over which we have no control and factors over which we have control. So part of the inflation has been caused because of global commodity prices increasing, over which we have no control. We are price takers. But I think a significant part has been in terms of petrol and diesel, where the prices have gone up, and they just not have a primary impact. It's also a secondary impact in terms of higher transportation costs, which get levied and get carried over through all commodities. So therefore, it becomes kind of a generalized inflation. And I think the reason why the government is taking around 60-65% of the final price in the form of taxes, both center and states, is essentially because of the economic slowdown. They have seen that the GST collections are going to get affected, corporate tax, income tax, customs, everything is going to get affected. So therefore, you have a privilege here because petrol and diesel don't come under the GST. You are allowed to increase these rates, and that's what the government has done. So I think it's been a very difficult trade-off, but in this particular situation, I think there's a case for saying that the government should run a higher deficit and make sure that these prices come down to avert this generalized inflation.
Okay, Nasir Salim.
And which is that, we're getting into a situation now where we feel we are getting into a phase called stagflation, which is high inflation and low growth. And I think the predominant, one of the key players of this is, we've had a lockdown situation, we've had the pandemic, and obviously the government has not created enough avenues of revenue generation. When I say that, I say it clearly because currently the government is only looking at one bucket, which is purely oil. We've seen, actually, I've got certain numbers to share with you. Between April 2014 to now, if you see, the diesel excise duty has gone up 8-fold. Right, the petrol on the other hand has gone up 3-fold. So the point is that it's obviously very, very dependent on one bucket. Secondly, I think obviously there are external factors. I mean, we do import vegetable oil. That's today at 57% higher than what it was in April of 2020. There are other supply disruptions globally which have also impacted costs of inflation. We've also had prices of metals shooting up, causing production issues shooting up as well. So obviously we need to strike a right balance between what is right and what is wrong in terms of increasing the revenue for the government.
Okay. Mr. KC Tyagi, I want to come back to you now. आपसे मैं ये जानना चाहता हूँ कि in your opening statement you did say that obviously this is going to be a huge burden on the people. You also made a pitch for the farmers that you should increase their income also. But Mr. Tyagi, आप सरकार हैं. You are in an alliance with the BJP, and in your capacity questions will be asked of you. अब आप भी अगर वही सवाल पूछेंगे तो फिर जवाब कौन देगा?
इस सरकार की जो दिक्कतें हैं, परेशानियां हैं, वो भी हम महसूस करते हैं. आज कोई एपिडेमिक की वजह से कोई भारत की स्थिति खराब हुई है, मैं ऐसा नहीं मानता. जो दुनिया की सबसे ताकतवर इकोनॉमी है अमेरिका की, वो खराब है. यूरोपियन यूनियन का बुरा हाल है. उसका इन्फ्लेशन का सप्लाई जो चेन खराब हुई है, उसका असर भारतीय अर्थव्यवस्था पर भी पड़ा है. और मैं उन लोगों में से नहीं हूं कि भारत की अर्थव्यवस्था खराब हो तो मैं उस पर प्रसन्नता जाहिर करूं. आई एम नॉट वन ऑफ देम. लेकिन मैं जिस सेक्शन से आता हूं, गांव के लोगों के यहाँ से आता हूं, हमारा कष्ट यह है कि जब सब चीजों के दाम बढ़ रहे हैं, स्टील के 50%, कॉपर के 40%, सरसों के तेल के, जब सरसों आप हमसे खरीदते हो तो दाम कुछ और होता है.
No, but Mr. Tyagi, I hope you realize this is exactly the point that even the opposition is making. They say that you give people the purchasing power. You increase income, or till such time that you can't do that, to boost demand, आप कुछ एक ऐसा scheme लाइए where you have like an urban version of Manrega, or you have a system where you increase the rural income, give direct cash transfers to people. These will be the possible solutions.
नहीं संकेत जी, मैं सरकार की इस बात की भी तारीफ करूंगा और आप भी अप्रिशिएट कीजिए कि नवंबर तक 80 करोड़ लोगों को मुफ्त चावल, गेहूं और ये भी दिया जा रहा है, दाल भी. और उसके लिए मैं फिर किसानों को, रूरल इकोनॉमी को फिर मैं शाबाशी देना चाहता हूं कि अगर हमारे भारत के किसानों ने इतना उत्पादन ना किया होता तो शायद 80 करोड़ लोगों को जो आज भोजन दे रहे हैं,
No, agree, but there is a cost involved. So you carry out these relief measures, but then you tax people so much that whatever relief has to happen is also proves to be a burden. It's all cyclical. Priyanka Chaturvedi wanted to come in. Ms. Chaturvedi.
No, I just want to remind KC Tyagi ji, I respect him tremendously, But I want to remind him that the rise in prices and the downfall of economy is not COVID induced. It is something which India was heading towards
In any
before
case, correct.
2017. Post demonetization, we all saw how economy started falling and faltering. We had a flawed GST which created further problems for the economy. So let's not blame COVID for all the mismanagement. The mismanagement began with your policy decisions. Now, with regards to what he's talking about, rural economy, when you have prices which are rising in terms of petrol prices, diesel prices, cooking gas prices, oil prices, everything, cooking oil prices, I mean, everything is increasing. Incomes are decreasing. Joblessness is increasing. So in what way are you trying to facilitate an economy to grow when there is no demand? And the demand can only grow when you bring in some liquidity into the system, which you're unwilling to do. You continue to speak about deficit gaps,
No, but then what about the relief measures that have been announced? The 6 lakh crore package.
Relief measures. You know, a 6 lakh crore package, 12.5 crore package, 12.5 lakh crore package. They're all, if you look at it, they're basically 1% or 2% of the economy that you're talking about, you're addressing. You're not addressing the larger issue. When you don't have consumer spending, when you're not giving enough money in the hands of the people, you will not be able to increase
let me
demand.
ask this question of Pinky
That
Anand.
is where we have a problem.
Ms. Anand, see, this point is raised a lot, politically also, and some economists also raise this point, that fine, you can boost the supply side by giving out loans. But then if people do not have the purchasing power, there will be no demand. And if there is no demand, I may set up the best factory. Whatever the produce is will not sell.
Sanket, actually, I am a little perplexed at this kind of question. I'll tell you why. I mean, the little economics that I have done in my various, throughout, of course, I'm a lawyer at this point. But coming back to that, I was an economics student, by the way, at the college, but that's not the story. This is far beyond that stage. The question today really is the fact that you are facing an unprecedented time. Whether you can ultimately boost either supply or demand itself is a moot question. I'm not even sure how much of supply you can talk about boosting at this point of time. Every possible constraint is there. You know, there have to be times when you have to balance that issue. As I said, I can only really repeat at this point of time. If you are having, as what one of our speakers has said very rightly, there are some features over which we have control, and there are some features over which we have no control. So the packages that we have as a government has lent out to the people in two ways. The food packages, including food and oil and dal and everything else that goes along, is rationed to about 80 crore people. And the benefits that have gone on, as Priyanka said, 12.5 lakh crore or whatever it is. These are the benefits that have been able to be meted out, and possibly this is the first and only target you can meet at this point of time. You are looking forward to the various
Anand,
migrant labours. You're looking forward. You're looking forward to people returning back.
Question,
that is your priority.
I agree.
Coming back to the fact,
Ms. Anand, I know you have a very your predicament is difficult. But I just want to know from you, was this the only...
I don't know, sir.
Was this the only
alternative?
alternative?
I don't know what a predicament. I don't know about your predicament situation, so let's not go there. Be that as it may.
Okay. No, Ms. Anand, my question is, do you think that this was the only alternative? For instance, another political argument that is made is that on one hand, you have reduced corporate tax, and on the other hand, you are citing lack of funds, or obviously a government needs funds. You need revenue. So all that revenue will come out of petrol pumps and cooking oil.
See, Sanket, all said and done, petrol is one of the features that lends itself in an economy to all kinds of issues. That is always the case because it has a cascading effect. So you are right to that extent. However, the fact of the rise of crude oil, you've had rise of crude oil to 65 per barrel, which is almost double what it was last year. You have obviously cascading effect as far as the rise of crude oil is concerned, and we are 80% import dependent. So we can talk in the air and we can say that it should be done, but what do you do with the feature over which, as
can I please comment?
But it was, you know, we were import dependent as far as oil is concerned, even in 2013. I'm just trying to understand what has changed between 2014 and 2021.
Can I come in?
Sanket, I am not sitting here to talk about 2014 and 2021. I'm talking about 2021. So I'm not going where you want necessarily to raise your fingers at. I'm talking about the current situation. As far as that is concerned, is it justified? Is it not justified? Is it something which is sad, which is not sad? So of course it is unfortunate. But I'm just saying there are features beyond the control which have not permitted the situation to become better.
Okay,
One would want it better. And secondly, I must again I'll just point one feature again. The food ration and giving to the people, giving to the migrant labor, giving to the people who return to their states, and the obligation that has been performed, which has been lauded by all, and this is across.
You know, I understand the step that the government is making and the amount of money that is being spent on this free food grains. One moment, Supriya Sinait
and you
first.
say obligation maintained. I'm sorry, 1 second.
Can I
Ma'am would
please
have
come
to
in?
correct. Ms. Pinky Anand would have to correct the word she used. She
Which
cannot
word?
call it an obligation. It wasn't an obligation. It was a duty of the government. When you enforce a strict lockdown, then you might as well adhere to your duty of ensuring that the migrant laborers have faced hell during the strict lockdown. So please don't call it, we maintained our obligations or we handled our obligations. This was not an obligation. You owe it to the people of this country. And that's your job.
Priyanka, nobody used the word obligation, so I don't know where you are going off stream. Please be sure of
You
what
just
you
said
heard.
that.
I
And
don't
you
think
just
you heard
said that.
correctly.
You said that. I heard it correctly. Maybe you should, you should watch your
Okay.
again.
We'll come back to that. Supriya Sinait.
You know, Sanket, when the government came into office, Prime Minister Modi spoke about some bitter pills, and the country was prepared to take that. But the government went back on its word. When crude oil prices fell to $19 a barrel last year, did we pay less for our fuel bills? No, we did not. Who made the money? The central government. By raising what part of the excise? The additional and the special excise duty. They did not touch basic excise because basic excise has to be shared with the states. So the only excise that's consistently raised is additional and special excise. When crude oil prices come down, we don't get the benefit. When they go up, we are being taxed. That's the first hypocrisy of this government. The second hypocrisy of the government, and an insensitive government needs to be reminded, if 80 crore people in this country of 140 crore are resorting to taking free ration, you have to realize how grim the economic situation is. I mean, this is your duty. This is what you're not obliged to do. This is the right thing, the moral thing for a government to do. The third important thing that I want to talk about is, and it's a very small example because त्यागी जी यहाँ पर बात कर रहे थे, आज एक किसान को 1 लीटर सरसों का तेल खरीदने के लिए 14 किलो गेहूं बेचना पड़ता है, तब वो 1 लीटर सरसों का तेल खरीद सकता है. अगर 1 महीने का सरसों का तेल खरीदना है तो उसको 14 क्विंटल गेहूं बेचना पड़ेगा वो खरीदने के लिए. Imagine the discrepancy. And this government talks about equity. I will give you a very small example of the taxes that everybody in this country pays because of high GST rates and what corporates are paying. Forget about corporate taxes being cut. I'm giving you the profits of Reliance Industries for the fiscal year 2021, 55,000 crore rupees. You know how much tax did Reliance pay, corporate tax? 1,722 crore rupees, which is effectively 3.1%. How much tax do you pay? 30 to 33%. Why? Because this is how the government functions. So let's not get into who pays taxes and who does
Supriya,
not.
one moment. I asked this question of representatives of the government and they said that in any case, our corporate tax rates were the highest, among the highest in the world.
Absolutely
So we brought
not.
in rationalization.
Absolutely not. No. Corporate tax rates are not the highest. You gave a relaxation of 1.5 lakh crore rupees. Did it bring investment? Did it create jobs? No. It went into cleaning up balance sheets.
I'll have to go back to Ms. Anand about this.
That is what happened.
Ms. Anand, you are right to reply. The point on corporate tax.
See, the point on corporate tax, as far as I understand, you're right. It is one of the highest in the world. So talking about corporate taxes and that's not leading, as Supriya has been mentioning.
But Ms. Anand, as a special measure, these are desperate times. Would that not have been increased
yes,
again?
These are desperate times.
Why are we not
Which corporate house would have said no?
Loan fares?
Sanket, the question is not whether they could have been raised or they couldn't have been raised. The question is, which Supriya was saying, is that you did have a relaxation which didn't lead to higher investment. It didn't bring in more investment, so they went to clean up the balance sheets and the accounts. Now, we have to get into a point where we are talking about you want higher investment, So obviously you are in a situation where the economy is having a slowdown, and the logical situation happening on account. No,
people
Supriya.
in this country have
This is
slipped
happening
below the
during
poverty
COVID
line,
times.
ma'am.
Supriya,
Let's talk about
either
people
you
like
want to
that.
talk, either you want to talk, you are welcome. In that case, I'll just let it rest. But the question is only
I'm
what
just
is the
pointing out
current
the figures.
situation about? You are having every possible lockdown problem. You are having a rollback now. So in that situation, you're hoping that the situation will come back to some normalcy. Meantime, external and import factors are something which we cannot go beyond, and that is what it is. So one is not trying to justify
My
it by saying,
only
why
point
do
is,
we
Ms.
not
Anand,
use
when we
bills
talk
when
out of the box
crude came at
solutions,
$90 a barrel?
for which the Prime Minister is known for, out of the box solutions, right? Which are placed in doubt also. For instance,
Demonetization.
the demonetization, GST, all of that has been subject to a lot of debate. Kakuli Ghosh Dastidar, I want to come to you now. Do you think that certain out of the box economic solutions could have helped?
Just one.
One moment, Ms. Anand.
Just one
We'll take a comment from Kakuli.
This
We'll
topic
take a
in
comment from
about
Ms. Ghosh and come
out
back.
of
Yeah.
Solutions. The Bharatiya Janata Party MLA of Chhattisgarh, you know what he suggests is that since there is so much of inflation, like a national disaster, people should stop eating and they should stop refrain from using fuel. So they have out of the box solutions to all these problems. What I still maintain is this government has no policy. I don't know what the think tank is doing. Economic growth is in shambles. The unemployment is highest in more than 4 decades. And today there is cash crunch. So the smaller businessmen and in the rural sector, also in the micro businesses, the banks cannot extend loans because there is cash crunch in the bank. And the RBI, due to the credit policy review meeting, I think it is coming on tomorrow on the 4th or something, is unlikely to change the key rates.
Sure.
And inflation is so much. So this country needs, the government, Bharatiya Janata Party government has to sit. They have to think about the policies that take the country forward and lift the country out of this mismanagement of the economic condition so the people can live.
I'm looking at CMIE data. Ms. Anand, Professor Geeta Bhatt is also now with us. Madan Sabnavis, I want to come to you now. Look at CMIE data. They say that second wave has worsened poverty, job losses. 97% Indians are poorer during the pandemic. Of course, these are things we already know. Unemployment figures had hit double digits in May 2021. They have gotten better. I would like to tell this also to our viewers that they are not in double digits anymore, but still high. And 23 crore more people fell into poverty during the pandemic. I want to ask you, at a time like this, when you put financial burden in a household which is already earning less for the same amount of job they were doing pre-pandemic, do you think raising these prices is the smartest and the only thing to do? Just a simple question.
No, definitely, Sanket, it's not a smart thing to do, because as you keep increasing prices and we pay more for food items, which are necessities, we have less money to spend on discretionary items, which again comes back to plague us in terms of the consumption demand story, which normally plays out during the festival time. So I think in this kind of a situation where unemployment is increasing, incomes are not increasing, growth has slowed down, consumption has slowed down, I think having high inflation is definitely not desirable. And it's not something which we can fully control, as I said before, but definitely to the extent that we can control it, I think there has to be government intervention. We need to take a certain pressure on the fiscal side. I think that can easily be done. Another 0.5% to 1% of fiscal deficit, I don't think is going to make too much of it's not going to be much of an issue, but definitely it could provide relief. I think I would actually suggest you should have more government expenditure, capital expenditure to create jobs. There need to be cash transfers. I think there's been this controversy over whether the people who died out of COVID need to be given cash transfers.
Yeah,
I think
absolutely.
That's a logical thing to do. It's a logical thing to do. Otherwise, how will this family survive? So I think compromising on the fiscal is definitely the solution. That's the only way out. It's my view as far as the government is concerned.
Okay, Nasir Salim, let's talk solutions also in this debate.
Yeah.
You tell me, what is the alternative to putting burden on the Aam Aadmi?
Sanket, I personally feel, and this is what, this is coming in from a lot of feedback that we've been interacting with MSME in the entire sector. I must tell you, especially where they are employers of large labor, right? And these are people who basically are engines of growth for the economy. I think the MSME sector is bleeding as we speak, right? They were hit before even the COVID happened. Today, we see a bigger challenge.
No, what's the report on the 3 lakh crore rupees?
I was coming to that. I'm coming to that, Sanket. So the biggest challenge right now in the 3 lakh crore, these in the form of credit guarantees that have been given out to MSMEs is that they have not reached the beneficiary. That is the biggest challenge. If they're not reaching the end MSME sector, then how do you ensure that there is revenue generation happening from them? That's number one. So in terms of solutions, here's my 3 pointers on that. Number one, Sanket, try to see if we can create a conducive environment for rewarding current businesses where you can get more revenues from for the center. For example, the current most recent marketplace amendment that they've done for consumer protection is a big dampener, I must tell you, for companies like e-commerce platforms like Amazon, where they're actually going ahead and saying that if you bring in this amendment, you are impacting people like the marketplace like Amazon, because you're going to be charging them with issues as against the manufacturer or the supplier. So there goes a bit of the revenue of the balance sheet. Number two, as I said to you before, I think there is also a lot of discussions around alternative assets which the central government holds currently, Sanket. For example, I'm talking about enemy property. Today, there are enough enemy properties all across India which are just lying vacant, not being utilized. If we can come forward as constructive feedback, central government can look at those properties, identify them, and maybe put them out in the market for sale. So you'll generate a good amount of revenue from them as well. And third, not the last, I would say, is that let's understand. I'll give you certain numbers. When we were in April 2014, and this is a hardcore number I like to state, the excise duty on petrol, on crude, basically, when it was that time, was about $65 a barrel. That time, we were charging 9.48 rupees to a liter of petrol as excise duty. Today, that stands at 32.90 bucks, 32 rupees and 90 paisa. So that has gone up twofold. You have to diversify your revenue portfolio, Sanket. We cannot continue holding on to one kitty, right? We have to diversify our portfolio.
So Nasir Salim is speaking like the managing partner of Flexi Capital, telling the government to diversify its portfolio. Sound advice, Mr. Salim. You should maybe advise the Prime Minister as well. I guess Ms. Anand has to leave. Ms. Anand, we would love if you could stay on for a little while, because Mr. Tyagi wants to say something, and I'll come back to you.
I'm afraid, Sanket, I have to leave.
Just give us 2-3 more minutes. Mr. Tyagi wanted to say something. I'll come back to you. Mr. Tyagi.
All right.
संकेत जी जो डीजल के और कॉमन मैन के और किसानों के इस्तेमाल की चीज़ों में जो बढ़ोतरी हुई है, मैं चाहता हूं सरकार से वो वापस हो। लेकिन सुप्रिया जी, मुझको एक कागज मिला है यूपीए 2 और
No, so as an alliance partner in this government, you want a rollback of the increased prices of petrol and diesel.
Yes.
And that's your position.
Yes. लेकिन हाँ, मैं अपनी बहन को बताना चाहता हूं, सुप्रिया को, जो इन्फ्लेशन रेट था 2000 इनके समय में 2009 में 12 पॉइंट, 2010 में 10 पॉइंट, 2011 में 9 पॉइंट, 2013 में 9.4 और 2014 से लेकर के 2020 तक ये कभी 6% से ऊपर नहीं हुआ है, जो महंगाई दर है, जो इन्फ्लेशन है। तो ऐसा नहीं है कि मैं कोई आई डोंट वांट टू मेक इट एनडीए वर्सेस यूपीए। आप एपिडेमिक का असर पूरी दुनिया की इकोनॉमी में हुआ है, इसको आप सुप्रिया जी इग्नोर नहीं कर सकती। अमेरिका जैसी जो पावरफुल इकोनॉमी है, यूरोप की जो
व्हाट अबाउट होलसेल इन्फ्लेशन? Wholesale inflation is the highest in a century.
Sanket, I should have a right to reply.
Yeah, one. I'll give you a right to reply. Mr. Tyagi, आपने इतने सारे आंकड़े दिए, एक हमारा भी सुन लीजिए. Wholesale inflation is the highest in a century at 12.9%. So obviously things are not right.
But
my point is,
it was. मैं आपसे पहले कह दिया कि मैं यूपीए वर्सेस एनडीए नहीं कर रहा हूं इसको, और जो बढ़ी हुई कीमतें हैं पेट्रोल की, डीजल की, मैं चाहता हूं कि वो रोल बैक होना चाहिए, लेकिन एपिडेमिक का कोई असर ही नहीं हुआ इंडियन इकोनॉमी पे, मैं ये मानने को तैयार नहीं।
Okay, Supriya, I'm going to come back to you, Ms. Pinky Anand, before you leave. Your quick last comment. You tell me what do you think it's now time? It's now time for out-of-the-box economic solutions beyond us stopping consuming diesel, petrol,
of course it is.
heating. Yeah.
No, you're right, Sanket. At this point of time, we are only struggling with all sorts of odds, and definitely all out-of-box solutions are more than welcome. And whatever the suggestions come, it is something worthwhile seeing. The only thing which I support, and I entirely endorse what Tyagi ji is saying to this extent, you just can't ignore the effect of COVID on the current position. And one ultimately is struggling to keep things together. Some of the issues have arisen out of external circumstances. However, yes, out-of-box solutions, one is constantly striving at them, and that is what obviously one hopes for.
All right. Thank you very much for joining us, Ms. Anand.
Thank you.
Professor Bhatt is also with us. Let me quickly get in
Can
her
I just
comment.
reply to what
Supriya.
Tyagi ji had said?
Yeah, I'll come. You will
I
get
have a right to reply.
Supriya, proper right to reply. I assure you. There is a opinion guarantee scheme on this program. Don't worry. Just like Manrega. Yes, Professor Bhatt.
Yeah, Sanket, I think almost all the panelists have at least acknowledged, although I have joined late, that because of the pandemic, yes, definitely economy has been hard hit worldwide. There has, in 2020, it was projected that economy is going to slow down, and the GDP rate is also going to slow down by more than 3% across the world. And definitely, we have also been hit very badly. But, since I was hearing Supriya Shinath ji and other panelists, I was just remembering that how during the UPA time, again, what Tyagi ji was saying, no comparisons being drawn, but just to recollect that at a time when the LPG cylinder had touched, there was no pandemic at that time. But it was, in 2014, it was 1,240 rupees to be precise. And in 2012, when it had reached 900 rupees, at that time, Renuka Chaudhary ji, who was in the same role as Supriya Shinath ji today, she had said that, who says that LPG cylinder is used by poor people? So even if it has become 900 rupees, so what? It's not used by the poor people. At least today, one cannot say that. One cannot say
Okay,
that.
let me ask you this question. Now that poor people are using that cylinder, do you think they'll be able to afford?
There is the biggest challenge in front of the country and the government is the economy. No doubt about that. But it is important that at such a time when our country as well as the whole world is facing such a big crisis, we are limping back. And as you just said that the unemployment rate, it was almost 12%. Now it is 9%.
No, I mean, God forbid there is another wave. This will go back up in double digits. So, I mean, we can't really read much relief into this. Supriya Shinath, very quickly, and then Ms. Chaturvedi.
I just have one point to add, और मुझे पता है कि त्यागी जी पढ़ लिख कर आते हैं और उन्होंने ये आंकड़े बताए, पर त्यागी जी आप ये भी मानिएगा कि इन्फ्लेशन और ग्रोथ रेट का बहुत संबंध होता है, और रियल रेट ऑफ ग्रोथ होता है ग्रोथ से इन्फ्लेशन को माइनस करना. 8% growth when inflation was higher versus a contraction of 10% and inflation being at 6.3% tells you the picture. So let's not talk about half the picture firstly. Between 2004 and 2014, actually 27 crore people were lifted out of poverty. 23 crore people have gone back below the poverty line. Who's going to talk about them? And one last point I want to make is we entered this pandemic with comorbidities. Our growth rate was falling for 8 successive quarters, not for 1 or 2, but 8 successive quarters. 24 महीने, 2 साल से हमारी growth rate half हो गई थी, 2017 से 2019 के बीच में. So things have to be put in perspective. The economic mismanagement, the corona pandemic, and the absolute
Okay, now tell me
failure of the
something.
government
I have to ask a
think out
question
the
of
box.
opposition leaders also, and this question will be asked of Ms. Chaturvedi as well as Supriya Shinath in the same order. Ms. Chaturvedi, the question is that while we may all accuse the centre of taxing petrol and diesel, there is an equally high tax component imposed by the states as well. I mean, if you expect the centre to reduce taxes, the states can lead by example.
So I remember a time, right. I remember a time when Narendra Modi ji, when he was campaigning for Delhi Assembly elections, not this assembly, but the previous assembly, he had called himself the Naseeb Wala Pradhan Mantri. Why did he call himself the Naseeb Wala Pradhan Mantri? He said this because the crude oil prices were at a record low. Now, I will come to 2020. The Saudi Arabia minister, when our petroleum minister approached the Saudi Arabia government to reduce the crude oil prices or to look at OPEC countries also, he asked them to reduce and come up with a more rational pricing. You know what he responded to our petroleum minister? He said, you all have taken enough advantage of low crude oil prices and you all have enough in stock to be able to reduce prices. The prices do not matter for OPEC countries. You should be doing that from within. This is the Saudi Arabia minister. Now, here is a prime minister who's called himself a Naseebwala. Now, let me get back to the basics. 71.8% of your central taxes is controlled by the center in diesel. 60.1% of the taxes, again, are taken in by the center. Despite whatever crude oil prices that they're buying at, what they're selling to the state governments are at a price which are predetermined. You may have deregulated prices of petrol and diesel, but what you're doing is you are earning money out of every state government sales as well. 71.8% on diesel and 60.1% on petrol. Now, also let me tell you, in 2014, when this was Mehengai Ki Maar, petrol ke prices were rising high, the point was, the excise duty was at less than 10 rupees. And what do we have now? Less than 35 rupees. So what we have is 32 rupees per litre that we are paying as additional taxes to the central government.
I'm also told that the exchange rate has gone up, which also adds to the increase in price.
Exchange rate, even if you put that and you rationalize the, you equate that with inflated prices of foreign exchange, you still cannot justify the amount of taxes you have increased over the period of years, the amount of taxes you take from people. I have given you the percentage.
Now my question on the state's responsibility in reducing the burden.
The central government clearly shows that they refuse the state. One second. Some states have also done that. What has the central government done? I would want to know from you, who earned profit out of the low crude oil prices? Who earned it? It was the center. Who is supposed to carry the burden of all the central excise taxes?
Professor Bhatt, do you want to respond?
People of this country.
So, Ms. Chaturvedi says that the larger responsibility of reducing the tax lies with the center because they've collected more taxes.
Well, you see, even if you look at the GST collection, there has been a late fee charge which has been put to the states. That also, that burden has been reduced.
You all have not even reimbursed the GST compensation.
GST is a pain point, Professor Bhatt.
Please don't come and defend it.
States will be up in...
You are sitting on 7,000, 8,000, 10,000 crores.
Please, yaar. I mean, I don't know why is she defending something like this? Even the GST compensation that is due to the various states are not paid to them.
What I am going to speak.
You are seeing the GST Council is also debating whether the GST has been impacted.
Okay, one by one, please.
You should have some grace.
Yeah.
While you are speaking to your fellow panelists.
Ma'am, I have one thing to say, Ms. Bhatt. And Ms. Bhatt, that's only one thing I'd repeat to you. Please justify the central excise taxes. Please justify the GST dues that are to be paid to the states, why they haven't reached to the states, and then we shall
Let's listen into the reply.
All right, ma'am?
Professor Bhatt.
Sure.
Yes, so you see, there definitely these are very, very testing times, and it is not that the government is not going to pay what is due to the states. It is because of this pandemic, we have seen what the last 2 months the kind of corona wave had come. At that time, it has been very, very difficult for the government because there is a health sector which needs to be taken care of. There is COVID, which has
prices have been rising since 2014, ma'am.
It is not.
Why are you bringing COVID into this, Ms.
LPG. I don't know. At that time, I think you belonged to another party when
I may belong to any party, ma'am. But I do have some logic. I do have some logic. Don't bring in my politics into this. Please answer the question.
So that was the time when Mr. P. Chidambaram had once
I'm talking about petrol and diesel, ma'am.
20 rupees which cost.
I'm talking about the GST dues of the state governments, ma'am.
Inflation, which Tyagi ji was also talking when it was.
I'm not talking about inflation. I'm only talking to you about.
You see, It is not that the central government is not going to pay. Definitely it is going to pay.
Can I please come in?
Okay, one moment. I'll have to come in here. Very limited time left. Ms. Supriya Shinate and then Mr. Tyagi.
No, I just wanted to remind the panel that मोदी जी ने सिर्फ पेट्रोल डीजल के लिए ही लकी नहीं कहा था, उन्होंने ये भी कहा था कि जो डॉलर और रुपए का दाम है वो भी एक हो जाएगा. खैर वो भी नहीं हुआ. I also wanted to point out that the center was making in 2014 on every liter of diesel sold, center's share was 2.5 rupees. Today it is 31 rupees. Center's share on petrol, every liter sold was 6 rupees 50 paisa. Today it is 32 rupees 33 paisa. That is what the center has done. They have amassed 23 lakh crore rupees by 13 to 14 excise duty hikes, and that has to change. Don't keep misdirecting the missiles at the states. You are sitting on states' GST funds. You are sitting on revenues that you owe the states, which is also unconstitutional. You have to begin the demand cycle.
Okay,
KC
Tyagi, I want to come to you now. KC Tyagi, we have seen this Arun Jaitley formula, which is spoken about a lot in the power corridors, where he said, and I'm sure you would remember, that the central government will take a burden of a reduction of 5 rupees in petrol and 5 rupees on diesel and will urge the states to do the same as far as cut in taxes is concerned. Do you think the time has come to implement the same formula right now?
नहीं संकेत जी, मार्केट फोर्सेस के हाथ में जब हमने दाम तय करना दे दिया,
नहीं त्यागी जी, मार्केट फोर्सेस तो फिर ये why is there the holiday period during elections? इलेक्शंस के दौरान तो मार्केट फोर्सेस नहीं लगते.
जब क्रूड ऑयल $19 पे गिरा तो मांग कम क्यों नहीं हुई? दाम तो कम होना चाहिए था सर, तब कम क्यों नहीं हुआ?
मिस्टर त्यागी.
सुप्रिया जी, मैं तो जब आप बोलती हो तो मैं तो बोलता ही नहीं हूँ बीच में.
सर मैं कहाँ बीच में?
लेकिन ये प्रियंका जी बोल रही थी तो मैं तो, मुझको जिक्र भी का तो भी मैं नहीं बोलता हूँ. मैं तो इस राय का हूं कि ये जो आर्थिक सुधार मनमोहन सिंह जी के समय शुरू हुए थे, उसको लेकर के देश में कुछ समृद्धि के टापू बने हैं. इनके टाइम से लेकर के आज तक वही इकोनॉमिक पॉलिसीज हैं, वही लिबरलाइजेशन है, वही बड़े बड़े उद्योगों के लिए है और उसी में एसेट्स बढ़ रहे हैं. गरीब लोगों के लिए जो योजनाएं थी, हाँ मैं सुप्रिया जी को भी कहना चाहता हूं कि मैं बहुत बड़ा प्रशंसक हूं जो आपने मनरेगा शुरू किया था. आई एम नॉट वन ऑफ देम कि सारी चीजें खराब थी, एंड यू शुड नॉट बी वन ऑफ देम कि आज सारी चीजें खराब हैं. 80 करोड़ लोग पिछले 1 साल से क्या हुआ होता है इकोनॉमी का अगर हिंदुस्तान के अंदर इन लोगों को मुफ्त खाना ना दिया होता. हमारे पड़ोस के मुल्कों को भी आप देखिए, FAO की फूड एग्रीकल्चर ऑर्गेनाइजेशन की रिपोर्ट है रोम की कि पूरी दुनिया में भुखमरी बनने वाली है. मैं फिर किसानों को सैल्यूट करना चाहता हूं कि उन्होंने चावल, गेहूं, शक्कर,
दुनिया की गरीबी का 55% हमारे यहाँ से बढ़ा हुई है.
Kakuli Ghosh wants to come in. I'm running out of time. Kakuli Ghosh, even you know, the central government opening up the food grains for 80 crores was preceded by a lot of agitation, political as well as otherwise, of people urging the government to do so. It's not like the government thought of it, but they did it. That's good. Kakuli.
Let me take one point at a time. First, you see, I don't agree to the lady who said that it is because of COVID that the economy is like this. No, the economy became in shambles from 2016 after demonetization. The COVID was totally mismanaged. Instead of looking at isolation and treatment and testing and vaccination, this government went on थाली बजाने के लिए चले गए. तो थाली बजा के कोविड कमती करने की कोशिश किया. तो हमें तो ये अच्छा दिन नहीं चाहिए, हमें वो बुरा दिन वापस दो, जो बुरा दिन में हमारे लिए यहाँ इतना अनएम्प्लॉयमेंट नहीं था. And as far as the states reducing taxes, West Bengal has reduced its taxes. So the central government should follow suit. And what I would tell you is that there is total mismanagement as far as even the GST is concerned.
Okay.
And as far as the food is concerned, distribution of food, it is the credit of the farmers. And the farmer bill that they are bringing, it is anti-farmer. So look at the policy paralysis, look at the policy of this government.
Sure, I've run out of time. Thank you very much to all you ladies and gentlemen. This was an important discussion to be had and many more, because अब की बार बहुत हुई महंगाई की मार. What are you doing, Sarkar? These questions will be asked of the Sarkar only. and Sarkar has to answer. Everything, the answer to everything cannot be pre-2014. Thank you very much. News continues on the other side. Stay.